Greetings, comrades. This is Andre Aguides Desjardins for Magic the Gathering's Lost Caverns of Ixalan Cracker Pack. One of the few last draft booster Cracker Packs that is happening. So we have a Gnome token, so I believe it goes Cave Rare Uncommons. Yeah, so I guess Land Rare. 3 uncommons, 3 uncommons, 4 uncommons, cool. And the commons. Excellent. Right. Hope they're the commons and uncommons anyway. It's hard to tell with the symbols sometimes. First one is Over the Edge. It's a green in the colors for sorcery. Choose one. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, or target creature you control explores, then explores again. Sorcery. This is kind of filler. This reads powerful and flexible and kind of designed for best of one. Green just isn't that a fantastic color to get in on. Not that it's not a good support color or anything, but I don't want to get it on green, and certainly not for this very replaceable card. Things like this, I mean, it's a good sideboard card because destroy target artifact or enchantment. And there'll probably be an artifact target kicking around in the set because there's a lot of artifacts. This is still just a C level card though. The second buyout of Explorers and Explores again is fine, but it's you need a creature to do it. It's really random what you get at sorcery speed, so your opponent can react to it. So yeah, C. This is like a sideboard B. There are going to be some games, like me, the blue player, just crafting some really expensive cards that you're going to need this to get rid of. And then sometimes you use the double explore, but I'm not looking to first pick this. Alright. 6 mana. Cavern Stomper. Creature Dinosaur. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. 7/7, and for a green and 3 colors, Cavern Stomper can't be blocked by a creature with power 2 or less this turn. I'm gonna say this right now, and this probably could cause some fights, but Colossal Dreadmaw is better than this card. And Colossal Dreadmaw is not a fantastic card, but it had the evasion, aka trample, naturally. You didn't have to pay 4 mana to get it. And when it enters the battlefield, scry 2. Generally not what you're looking for in these big cards. You're actually looking to gain some life. That's why Hamlet, Glutton, and Gorgeous George were good, because hopefully your 6/6 or 7/7 is going to stabilize the board a little bit, and the life just generally tends to helps put you out of aggro range. So D, not looking to play this card. Alright, Hotfoot Gnome, 1 red, 2 colorless for an artifact creature gnome, 3/1 haste, and can tap to give another creature haste until end of turn. This is fine. This is a C-level card. 3/1 haste is kind of borderline playable because you can get it in, and the fact you can give another guy haste afterwards, it's fine. C-level card. Frilled Cave Worm is 1 blue, 3 colorless for a Salamander Worm. Yay, getting some more Salamander Tribal in. Can you hear the magic working? It's not really working very well. Well, I don't have a Pro Studio, so the casting cost. Ooh, there we go. You can see it's 4. It's a 2/5 and it has Descend 4. It gets +2/+0 as long as there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard. Descend 4 is easy to get. You don't really have to try for it that hard. Maybe a couple mill cards. Just creatures will normally die. That said, not looking to play this as a Descend card. There are way more powerful Descend 4 cards. Not really for a 2/5 blocker. That's super replaceable. So D, not looking for the 2/5 blocker, and there are way better Descend payoffs. Ooh, here's a nice one. Sage of Days, 1 blue, 2 colorless for a 3/2 human wizard. When he enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards. You may put one of those back in your hand and put the rest in the graveyard. Or sorry, not in the hand, back on top of your library. Oh my lord, if it drew a card, Organ Hoarder, for cheaper, get in there. No. Still an excellent man. When I'm first picking, the nice part is you can just dump all 3 in the grave. He's a great way to help turn on Descend. He almost does it all by himself. If you hit 3 permanents and then block with him, he does do it by himself. And if there's what you're looking for in the top 3, great, keep it on top. The warning is 2 of them do have to go to the grave. So if you hit 2 cards you want, womp womp, one of them is going to the grave, but you're probably overthinking things. You probably want at least 2, if not all 3, to go to the grave. If you're looking for a specific card, he gets you 4 cards deeper because 3 of them can just go to the grave. And here's what I'm looking at so far. Alright. Next, we have Dynamotion. 1 red, 3 colorless for an artifact creature, Dinosaur. It has Manase. It's a 4/3, and when it enters the battlefield, target creature control gains menace until end of turn. Here's another good sea level card. 4 drops are a lot more replaceable than 2 and 3 drops. Just how the mana curve works. That said, giving the fact he gives something menace on enter the battlefield and a 4/3 menace also helps him trade with 2 creatures as opposed to 1. It makes him fine. I don't think that's what a lot of the aggro decks are looking for, and I think the dedicated red-green dinosaur deck wants to go bigger than him. But he's fine. He's like C minus. You can play him. Alright. Cosm... I can't pronounce this. Blast. Shoot him with the lasers. Yeah. 1 white, 1 colorless for an instant. He deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. This, I know, is like Gideon's Intervention. There's some other cards with it. These are fine, like C tier removal. They're actually more for defensive decks than offensive decks. Because you don't want to, like, with something like this, like, attack, have your opponent block, and then kill it. It's very tempo negative for you to do that. They've already gotten some value out of the blocking, so it's much better just killing a creature that's attacking you. You actually can't have too many of these. Aaron Fisher once asked, can I play 4 of these in my deck? And the answer is no. No, you can't. Like, 2 of these is the maximum you can get. Probably a C card, maybe C minus. Like, this isn't the type of removal I'm looking for, but it'll occasionally get in there. I'm still on Saves of Days After, and I really want to point out, because people talk about bread and that removal is the second thing, but it's only efficient removal. Like, this is inefficient removal, so it's not a high pick. Next up is Fungal Fortitude. It's a black and a colorless. For enchantment aura, it has flash. Enchant creature gets +2/+0. And when it dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. There are actually a few creatures that have enter the battlefield effects, so you can play this. That being said, I still put it like a D-. I'm not very happy to have this enter my deck. It doesn't, unlike the ones that are like Death Touch and Indestructible, it doesn't even guarantee, like there was one on the other side, an instant that a creature gets Death Touch and Indestructible, it doesn't even guarantee your creature wins combat, right? Like, if I attack with a 4/5 and you have a 2/2, this doesn't guarantee that your 2/2 trades for a card. Like, you would still be down. So this is like a D, maybe even a D-. It wouldn't be surprised if sometimes it like snuck into your deck and it was the correct thing to do, but I'm not looking to take this. Very low. Ooh, here we go. An active Jengar. 1 white, 3 colorless, artifact creature gnome. 3/3, tap to intact artifact inner creature you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on an active Jengar. Activate only as a sorcery. So Hill Giant, which is 3 mana 4/4, not good stats. But this tells you what the specifically red-white deck is looking to do, where it's looking to make multiple pieces of rectangles and then tap them to give abilities. This is low on that scale, I believe. The Signpost Uncommon is fantastic. People have been praising the 1/3 that can tap 2 creatures to deal a point, and I've seen it do work. This is like C-. It'll sometimes sneak into your decks. If you're playing best of 3, you can look into situations where your opponent is attempting to grind you out. Activating as a sorcery really makes this not fantastic. Alright, here we have a land cave, hidden courtyard, my cat is playing with me, my phone is going off, life is fantastic. Center battlefield taps for a white and 4, and sack it, discover 4, activate only as a sorcery. So it's discover 4 for 6 mana, which is not very good. We're going to be honest with you. 6 mana for 4 or less casting cost is not good. That's being said, normally I'm very, very high on lands that have utility. I'm less high on these because of craft and things. There's just lots of places to put mana in the format. That being said, I found the white-black deck doesn't have a lot of those places. It's more about sacrificing, so Hidden Courtyard is much better in the white-black deck or decks that doesn't have a lot of craft or places to put mana. You can still pick it and put it in your deck. It's like my draft deck last night did not have any caves, and I didn't miss it. I had lots of things to do with my mana. So some decks, the caves are actually going to be like a C+, where if you have less things to do with your mana, you'll want this because you'll want a land that can help compete with me, who has lots of things to do with my mana. And then some decks, this is like a C-. So I would take a cave early on over replacement level cards, and then later on you're going to know if you have like 4 craft things and a bunch of maps and stuff like that, you're not going to need caves. Well, if you're like the Conquistador Sack deck or maybe some of the Pirate decks, you're going to want a cave or 2 in your deck to help you with doing things with your mana. Alright, here we go. Uncommons, Vanguard of the Rose. Here's a great man. White and a colorless for a 3/1 and 1 mana. You can sacrifice another creature or artifact. Vanguard of the Rogue is indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. Excellent card. The threat of activation, so I can attack. You have a 2/2. You don't know if you're going to trade or not, so you probably don't trade. Is fantastic on this guy. A lot of black and white cards you want to go to the graveyard, and this guy is a very cheap means to do it. I would take him easily over the Blast right now. Just an excellent man. C+, maybe B-. So I would consider him. Next up, Verge of the Dead. I guess this is the flip craft card. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature from it. That player discards this card. And craft with 2 creatures, so black and 6 colorless. At sorcery speed, you can exile 2 creatures from play and or graveyard. You want to do your graveyard. And then transform it. And it transforms into Dread Orosaur, a Dinosaur Skeleton Horror. Nice. Menace. A 5/4 when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may mill 2 cards. This is a great thing for a black deck to do to make use of its mana late game. The front end effect, where they discard a card, is fine. 2 mana, you want to be playing things, but they don't necessarily have to be creatures. I actually think I had one of these, but did not include it in my pool last night, which may have been a mistake. This may have been one of the craft cards I should have included. Especially I had a blue uncommon that just milled a card and then crafted into a 4/4. That was much worse than this. The craft with creatures is almost going to be free. Like, craft with artifacts is almost free. Craft with creatures is basically free. For 6 mana, with black, between just trading combat and milling, you should absolutely have 2 creatures in your graveyard. You might be worried if you have some Descend 4 or whatever cards. And you want the craft cards that turn into creatures. The craft cards that turn into creatures are way better than the craft in limited than craft cards that do other things, because creatures are way better. And like when I compare that to a cave, so like when I compare this card to this cave, in terms of using my mana, using 6 mana for the cave, because it itself is a land, so it's a mana, to discover 4, so you're probably getting a 3-drop, so you're maybe getting like a 3/3. That'd be like a good discover 4. And this gives me a 5/4 menace. Like, that's why. Thank you, Pack, for allowing me to explain why, like, caves are fine, but they're not the best use of your mana here. So there's another one I would consider. Next we have Captain Storm, Crimson Raider, I believe. So it's Captain Legendary Storm's back. Legendary creature, human pirate. When an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target pirate you control. For a blue and a red, this is a great pirate card. Lots of artifacts kicking around. Pirates make treasure, pirates make maps. These colors make treasures and maps. Very good card. I don't like first picking 2-color cards. This one is typal is the new term for it, I think, as opposed to tribal. So I'm not first picking this just because it's a 2-color card. If you want to first pick and build around it, that's fine too, but it's not something I like doing. Alright. Mantle Battle Grip. It's a green. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If the creature you control enters the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, then those creatures fight each other. So it's Prey Upon with a little upside. That's a fine card. If the creature entered this turn, you get a little upside. I'm not super high on green. If you're in green, this is a great spell. If you're in the Dinos deck, this is a fantastic spell. So, like, if you're in red and you have a few Dinosaurs and this comes along and there's nothing really else in your pack, you might want to pick this up. Because I think once you know what green card you're looking for, that's when you should play green. But I wouldn't blindly pick this green card because there's a lot of green decks it goes in that it's not going to be a super optimal card. Probably a C. Alright. What do we got here? This fine-looking dinosaur. Trumpeting Censor. 6 mana. 7/6 trample. We're smashing the vanilla test. And since this is Modern Magic, there's probably not bad words after this. When it enters the battlefield, discover 5? Jeez. Okay. And red and 2, discard it from your hand. Deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. This card is fantastic. So what makes this card fantastic is that bottom line. Yes, you'd rather cast it for 6, obviously, and get the humongous boy and discover 5, but, like, big is kind of replaceable in the Dinosaurs deck. Like, we got that guy who's also big. But I didn't want to play him. I mean, he's slightly better because of the Discover 5 and Trample. But, like, if I'm playing a Dino deck and have both of those in hand, and my opponent's attacking me with creatures, I'm not having a good time. With him, I can kill one of their creatures, and then play my big, replaceable Dum-Dum after. He's what I'm first picking. Like, that card is phenomenal. The flexibility is phenomenal. Some of the black can reanimate it, so yes, it's an enter on Discover, so if you reanimate it with Finality counter, so I'm going to first pick him. I'll bring back these 3 just to have the discussion on which ones. I don't like starting with non-creatures. I don't like starting, this is not the worst top deck, but not the best top deck. So I'm going to narrow it down to these 2. I like playing both their archetypes. So if I'm picking just what I think is the better card, it's Vanguard of the Rose. Just because I know my local area, I often end up drafting blue. Even then, I still think I pick Vanguard of the Rose. I think just the upside on him is phenomenal. But you're really picking the big dumb dinosaur, which is awesome. Alright, thank you, comrades. This is Andre Aguides Desjardins signing out.